speak, and it would be the best day ever. Because you finally get on that bus, you sit next to your friend, you talk about it all week, you're so excited, you know? So I know there's a lot of excitement in the room, and I'm really happy to be here with you guys. So a little bit about me. I know you heard my bio, but I don't think my bio is the best, most accurate representation of my journey, you know? When people read your bio, or you may look someone up on Wikipedia, you kind of only see the high points, okay? And my grandma would always say, success doesn't look like this, okay? It's not a straight line. Success oftentimes looks like this, okay? Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes you're on your way back up, but then you get back down. And so what I want to talk to you guys about today is kind of those times in the middle, where it wasn't like I was at a high point, but it wasn't like I was at a low point. I was kind of just trying to figure it out. And hopefully that can inspire someone in the room here today. So for me, where my story really starts off is one day, I was a junior in high school. I was a little bit older than you guys are right now, but not too far off. I was a junior in high school, and my mom came home with this letter. Okay, so I got a letter in the mail, had my name on it, and at the top of the letter, when I opened it up, it said West Point. Show of hands, has anyone here ever heard of West Point? Okay, for those of you whose hands are down, that was me. I had no clue what West Point was. Okay, I'm reading this letter. It's talking about this place called West Point. So I'm reading this letter, talking to my mom, talking to my dad. I watched a couple YouTube videos, okay? Because I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what this West Point thing is. So I watched the YouTube videos, and I'm like, all right, I'll give this thing a try. Basically talked about a summer camp. It was a one-week summer camp that I'd go to going into my senior year of high school over the summertime. And I grew up in Michigan. So I was like, all right, I'll go to the camp. And my parents were so excited. They were like, great, because we already paid the fee. So I was going to go whether I liked it or not, okay? So I get in the car. We drive from Michigan, my hometown, drive from Michigan to West Point, New York. West Point is about 60 miles north of New York City, okay? So we drive there. They drop me off. I hug my parents goodbye. I spend my first day there, okay? Haven't even spent 24 hours. Get through the rest of the day, it's nighttime. I FaceTime my parents on my phone. The Wi-Fi's kind of bad, so it's cutting in and out. But they asked me over the phone, what do you think? What do you guys think I told them? It was good? I got the thumbs up? Someone said it was bad, okay? Oh, I said it was bad. I told them I loved it. I told them I loved it and I didn't want to go anywhere else, okay? And for me, the reason why I thought that was because I knew I'd walk out a better young woman than I walked in. I'd learn stuff about myself. I'd be challenged, okay? There were times where I was going to fail. There were going to be times where I wasn't so good at something, and I'd try to find a way to get good at it. But I also knew that I wasn't going to go through it by myself. There were going to be people, like mentors, classmates, teachers, who were going to help me along the way to help me achieve my full potential, okay? And so I thought that with that in mind, I might be onto something. So I got back home to my hometown, I talked to my friends, right? At this point, I'm a senior in high school, and I tell them, guys, I know I'm gonna go to college, okay? I'm gonna go to West Point. What do you think they told me?
Good job!
Good job? What is it? Give me one more. Don't do it! Okay. You want me to tell you what they told me? They said, you're crazy. They said, there's no way. They said, we don't think you can do it, Alma. We don't think you're gonna graduate. We don't think you can do it. And I told them 2 words. You ready? I said, watch me. I told them, watch me. Okay? So here I go. All right, here we go. So here I am. Stay with me, you guys. Stay with me. Okay? So here I am. I only applied to one school. I graduated from high school, found myself at West Point later that fall. Every semester, there's about 1,000 students in each class. They rank every student 1 to 1,000 after every semester. Can somebody shout out a number for me? Where do you guys think I was for my first grade? I heard 50. Let me tell you. I was 333. I was 333 in my class, which is pretty good. I saw a couple head nods out there. That's pretty good. But I wanted to be great. I wanted to be great because I knew that if I was going to do this, I wanted to continue to achieve my full potential. Earlier we heard about my personal motto, demand excellence. Excellence looks different for everybody in this room. If I asked you to define excellence for yourself, we'd all get a different answer, okay? But that doesn't mean that we aren't capable of achieving our definition of excellence. So here I am thinking of what excellence means to me, how I've seen excellence be modeled throughout my life, whether it be my parents, teachers that I look up to, mentors in my community. And I thought, what ways can I continue to demand excellence of myself? Okay, so I thought about how I was doing in class. Was I spending enough time studying? What more could I do to demand that excellence? So I went from 333 my first semester of freshman year at West Point to 48. When I got to my second semester at the United States Military Academy, I was 48th in my class. I was the only female mathematical science major in my grade, and I had a systems engineering track that I studied as well, while also publishing research. So for me, when I thought about demanding excellence as a freshman, that allowed me to not only grow myself, but a rising tide lifts all boats. When I raise my standards of excellence, I can raise your standards, I can raise my community standards. It can have a ripple effect far beyond just myself. Okay, so I want you guys to hold on to that. So it might be a little pop quiz at the end. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. There's a ripple effect. When you demand excellence in yourself, a rising tide lifts all boats. You can demand excellence of others. Okay, so later that fall, a teacher came up to me and said, hey, you know, we've got this opportunity. You can apply to a number of graduate schools and graduate scholarships, and if you win, you know, you get the opportunity to earn your master's coming out of West Point. So I started to apply to some schools. I started to think big. How can I continue to demand excellence? So I applied to some of the biggest schools I could think of. Brown, Penn, Columbia, Stanford, the University of Michigan. I got into every school that I applied to, except for Princeton because I filled out the application wrong. But I get into all these schools, right? And for me, it wasn't about the acceptance letters. It was about the fact that I had checked in with myself and I asked, how can I demand excellence? And so I want to ask you all, how can you demand excellence in the classroom? How can you demand excellence in your community? What can you begin to do to demand excellence of yourself? Because again, that has a ripple effect. So I'm so happy that I got to be here with you guys. I'm going to leave you with one thing. I always tell the students that I speak to, if you can see me, you can be me. Now that doesn't mean you all have to be Miss USA, but that does mean that whatever it is you're looking to pursue, whether it's a dream or a passion or a sport, or you want to be the first in your family to go to college, whatever it is, you can do that. Okay, because throughout my story, there were a couple of times I shared with you where I didn't think I was unsure, or I was nervous, or I didn't really know anyone who had done something that I was looking to do. But I want you all to know, again, if you can see me, you can be me, and hold on to that. Thank you, guys.